Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I am Chris from iLeather.com, and today we're going to give you some tips on how to hopefully prolong the life of your razor and keep it looking good. I'll share with you what I do, and then you can take whatever part of it you want or none of it. But these techniques have worked well for me. Now the first thing I want to get into is buying used razors, because there's a level of care that I think you need to think about when you buy a used razor. For me, I use Barbicide, and I'll show you the Barbicide here. Sorry about that. Now this, I want to be very, very clear, is powerful stuff, folks. Keep it away from your pets. Keep it away from your children. Do not ingest this stuff in any way. This is powerful, powerful stuff. I can't stress that enough. Use your Barbicide as the instructions dictate. Do not deviate from it. This particular one mixes 2 ounces per 32 ounces of water. So what I do is get a 32 ounce Gatorade bottle. I put 2 ounces in here and then fill it. Be careful, once again, you'll notice I've labeled this, and I keep these away from people. They are in the back of my closet. It is labeled, so be very careful with it. Most of the time I throw this out after I use it, but I'll just grab a Gatorade bottle just because it makes it easier to mix. 32 ounces, just get 2 ounces in it and we are good to go. Again, I can't caution you enough. Be careful with this stuff. It's powerful stuff, but it is good stuff in terms of disinfecting the razor, which is what we want to do when we get a used razor. And I have a Barbicide jar, which you can find on eBay, I don't know, 20 bucks or so. And all you do is pull this thing up. You drop your razor in, generally speaking, for about 10 minutes. Any more than that, and you risk, if you have like painted surfaces or plastics, adversely affecting the coating. So we'll take our razor, disassemble it, drop it in for 10 minutes, get the razor out at that 10-minute mark, and rinse it. Once you've done that, you can rest assured that the razor is pretty well sanitary. You're not going to have any problems. It also does a great job of getting any debris, soap residue off the razor. So Barbicide is great stuff for disinfecting your razor, whether it's used or just every now and then you want to use it. But again, be careful. It's powerful stuff. You do not want to ingest it or have your pets ingest it, because it will send you to a premature grave if you're not careful. It's that powerful. So careful with this stuff. Okay, so once you've disinfected your razor and you have used it, there's the daily routine that we get into. So I pulled one of my razors out. I didn't use this razor today, but I'm just going to show you the way I work with it. Let me grab something and then we'll get going with our post-shave care of this razor. All right, so let's say we've used this razor today. The first thing that I do is disassemble the razor and remove the blade. Why do I do that? Well, there are a couple of reasons. Some razors, you'll find that whiskers, hair, and residue get inside the razor between the top cap and the base plate and the blade. And when you look at your blade, when you pull it out, sometimes you'll see stubble and soap on it. So we'll take that out and rinse it. I'll do another video on blade care. But we'll take this out, and what we'll do is go ahead and rinse it off. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse it. And then what I do is piece by piece, let me set that aside so hopefully it doesn't fall on me. Piece by piece, I'll take something like Dawn dishwashing liquid, as you see here. Doesn't have to be Dawn, it can be any sort of, soapy detergent type liquid, and this one's almost used up, so it's taking me a minute to get some out. But you get the idea of what I'm going to do here. I am going to, I've rinsed this, and what I do is take a soft bristle toothbrush, nothing abrasive. I'll wet it, and I'll just go around the razor, soap her up. I also use my fingers to sort of, soap it up. Be careful if you're doing that, because it does get slick, and that thing will shoot out of your finger like a wet trout if you're not careful. So be careful if you're going to do that, and make sure I get it soaped up nicely. Trying to remove any excess soap, residue, whiskers, whatever the case may be. Soap it up nicely, and then we will rinse it. Stand by. And okay, so what I do after I've rinsed it, I'll try to shake it out and make sure the water gets out of the inside of it. And I will wipe the handle down, just to make sure I'm removing the moisture. Wipe it down, remove anything you see there. Then I'll set my handle in a stand like so, with the open part pointing down, by the way, there's a hole in that where the water can escape if it needs to. And I will also wipe down my base plate, which you see here, and look at it to make sure everything's looking good. I will set that aside. I set it, there's a window right here behind my camera, and I'll set it in the window to dry for the day while I'm at work. By the time I get home from work, that razor completely dry, I can reassemble it. I don't recommend that you leave blades in your razor. The reason being is, if you leave it in there too long, a lot of times the blades can begin to rust and it can transfer to the razor, and you can get spots on your razor that are difficult to remove. Now, you can usually get away with a few days leaving it in, but I like to disassemble my razor every single time after the shave, go through this procedure. It keeps the soap from picking up a lot, it keeps the razor from picking up a lot of residue. It keeps it looking good. There are nooks and crannies on some razors that's hard to get to, so eventually you'll have to do a more deeper and more thorough cleaning, like maybe Barbicide, or I'll show you another method in a moment that works well for removing tough residue. But that keeps my razors looking good. I've never had a problem of any kind with rust. Everything looks great, so I don't recommend leaving the blade in the razor. Just my personal opinion. Let me offer you another technique if you want to go a little bit deeper. Now, there are some cautionary notes about this sort of thing. This is an inexpensive ultrasonic cleaner, and you plug it in and essentially it vibrates, and it does a pretty good job removing soap residue. If you have razors with handles like this, like are painted or plastic or coated, this guy, if you leave these razors in here long enough and you keep putting them through cycles, can eventually start removing these type of coatings. And the other thing I want to call to your attention, like in the case of a Slim, which you see here, you see those painted numbers? This thing will remove the paint from those numbers in no time flat. So be careful if you're going to use a vintage razor with a delicate coating or any type of painted surfaces, because it will remove it. I've had it remove these within minutes. So I don't recommend, if you're concerned about painted surfaces, especially numbers, because it does a great job. It just blows it right off. Be very, very careful with that. Now, for regular razors, say this vintage Gillette that I just had here, doesn't have any painted surfaces. You can drop this in here with a little warm water and solution if you want to use it. They sell a lot of solutions for these ultrasonic cleaners. Leave it in there for a cycle. It does a really nice job of getting in the nook and crannies. But again, I caution you about painted or delicate surfaces. It will remove paint. It will. I had a black handled Super Speed, and it wasn't getting as clean as I like, so I kept running it through cycles, and then this black part of the handle started coming off. So be careful with that, although it can be effective for razors like stainless steel with no coatings or brass that don't have delicate finishes. It can definitely help you. The main thing that I can suggest to you, or should suggest to you, or would, I should say, is be careful about leaving blades in razors. That, to me, is the number one no-no, especially if it's going to be for a week or more. It's probably not going to rust over a day, not unless you're outside at the beach somewhere and it's salty water. But leaving that blade in the razor, I just don't think is a good idea. There are people who will obviously disagree with that opinion. You probably can get away with a few days. I like to clean my razor every single day. It just makes me feel good to do so. And I typically don't use the same razor 2 or 3 days in a row unless I'm just really trying something out. So I'll dry it, leave it set for the day, it'll dry out, and I'll return it to the rack, and everything is beautiful. So I hope this has helped you. I've gotten a lot of requests for these type of videos. These are my techniques. They work well. Just heed the cautionary notes that I've given you throughout the process here. All right, folks, thanks once again for watching me. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, let's help make the entire world shave great once again.